Welcome to The Cauldron, a podcast hosted by Ed Bolden-Grear, the creator of Ravens Vail. In each episode, Ed will have free-flowing conversations about horror, life, culture, and personal growth. Expect to hear from storytellers, authors, horror experts, life gurus, thought leaders, and influencers. The Cauldron is a place where concoctions of a lot of ideas are brewed down to potions that are sometimes important and useful, sometimes eccentric and bizarre, but always just what you need. The Cauldron Podcast may contain explicit language and thematic elements not suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Well, hey there, family. Welcome back to the Ravens Vail Cauldron Podcast, where the whispers of ancient wisdom mingle with the warmth of our close-knit community as we gather around the mystical flames. Here, in this sanctuary of sorcery, we stoke the embers of curiosity and ignite the fires of imagination. I'm your host, Ed Bolden-Grear, and I'm joined by my partner in the paranormal, Jacob Garner, a.k.a. Freddy Cat. Together, we'll brew up a concoction of topics that resonate with the soul and spark the imagination. So as the cauldron simmers, sit back, relax, and let the magic unfold.
Hello, family. Recently, the Ravens Vail Podcast Network was nominated for one of the local Best Of contests, which gave us an idea. We're thrilled to have you with us today as we dive into the Cauldron's Best Of 2024 episode. This year has been nothing short of incredible so far, filled with unforgettable moments and a few surprises along the way. From the eerie whispers of CreepyCon to the haunting tales of ghost ships, we've explored many fascinating stories. Today, we're excited to share some of our favorite things with you so you can get to know us just a little bit better.
Hey, Jacob. How you doing, man?
I've definitely been better. You can probably still hear it in my voice a little bit.
You do still sound a little under the weather. My dear friend, Freddy Cat here, he had the COVID.
Yep, makes it the fourth time.
Fourth time he's had COVID. And I forbade him to be in my immediate vicinity until he was testing negative. Everybody knows I'm a huge germaphobe.
Oh, yeah. You were very sweet. You checked in on me every day.
Well, I mean, I love you, man.
I'm telling you, this was probably the more mild case of COVID that I've had. It still was not very fun, not gonna lie. Yeah. And I've been talking to a lot of people, and we already know personally a few people, like COVID's really ramping back up around this area.
We got a couple people out at work. In fact, I was just talking to one of them the day before yesterday, and I said, "So how are you doing?" And she said, "Well, I sound like a chain-smoking toad." And we were texting, and then I heard her, and yeah, she does.
Man, I'm telling you, it was definitely not fun, but at least the cool thing is that I kind of got it out of the way before the holidays, so I'm going to have a little bit of antibodies running through me.
Maybe.
Golly. What about you, man?
No, I've been fine. We had family in from South Carolina this past weekend, and we're helping them do a couple things on a property they bought down here. So not a lot of free time, but it was fun getting to catch up and see them. So
I think they're moving into a rough neighborhood. I've heard bad things about their neighbors.
For those of you who are listening, Jared and I own one side of a condo that's a duplex, and as a investment property, his grandparents bought the other side, and they're going to do like Airbnb or one of those companies to rent it out, and just to give us more space for holidays and things like that. So it was a fun time, but yeah, it was most of the weekend. So
is there a way that you guys can like just have like a door built into the middle wall?
We could. We actually contemplated when it went on the market, buying it and turning it into one big house.
I remember you guys talking about that. Yeah.
But there was some major processes you'd have to go through to make it one address and code zoning and all that stuff. So yeah. But something that I find very interesting that you had a lot of time to do, and I didn't have very much time. In fact, I only got to glimpse it one time. You got to watch the Paralympics.
Oh, yeah. I was watching quite a bit of it while I was recovering from COVID because it's not like I had fuck all else to do, honestly. But, man, the Paralympics, man, you want to talk about inspirational? those athletes are crazy.
Absolutely. I really wanted to see it, but
I'll
time
tell
management.
you two of the cooler things that I've seen so far. First thing that comes to mind, there's this young girl. She's definitely under the age of 18. She's from India, and she was born without arms, okay? And they were part of that contest that they were doing was archery, right? And this girl,
I've seen that.
so you saw the clip. It was so crazy cool. She was able to line up a shot and pull the string back and everything, and then fire an arrow with kind of like a trigger mechanism that she used her jaw with, man, and hit that target dead freaking center on the bullseye.
Amazing?
I mean, I was just
talk about inspirational.
And there was another athlete. I just can't even begin to imagine how exhausting this would be. He was a male swimmer from China, I believe. He was born without any arms as well. And dude, he's just swimming, just using his legs up and down the length of this pool. And I mean, he was swimming faster than I could.
Yeah.
I mean, and I just...
Do you swim?
I know how. My grandma spent quite a bit of money on swimming lessons when I was a kid. But dude, hey, it's an important lesson to have.
It is.
My coach at my gym, I always make jokes with him because he's easily one of the most dangerous people I've ever met. Like, he could twist you up like a balloon animal. Dude can't swim.
All you got to do to win is get him in the water.
Yeah, I would just jump into a lake if I had to get away from him.
Well, speaking of sports, football, college football started this weekend.
As if there aren't enough reasons to love fall. And it's like the start of the football season was awesome. We're huge Vol fans, obviously. And golly, UTK. Woo. So by the time you guys listen to this episode, you guys have probably already seen it. But this past weekend, University of Tennessee Knoxville played our in-state counterpart, University of Tennessee Chattanooga.
UTC.
And the final score was 69-3.
And I'm going to be honest, the UTK coach did everything he could to not just smear them. Like,
I know. Josh Heupel was trying to just not make it as big of a blowout.
Yeah. But in the end, I mean, like, they had fourth string people coming in.
The last guy who threw
Everybody got to play.
The last guy who threw a touchdown for our team in the game, he's like a true freshman, like just graduated from high school. He's like 18, 19 years old. And I think it really just goes to show you how deep our talent pool is. Mm-hmm. Because UTC, I mean, they're still fantastic athletes. There's just levels to this game. And UTK just really showed up. So
In pregame today, which is kind of what we do before we start this, you were describing for me, you were watching the U.S. Open yesterday, trying to watch the U.S. Open. And I'm not sure yet that I understand what happened.
Okay, yeah. So I was out at a bar yesterday, right? And they had the U.S. Open up on the TV screens, right? And in the middle of a match, like literally, like I was watching somebody taking a swing and everything. The whole screen just kind of went, oh, this service has been disconnected from your provider. So I was looking around and the bartender was like, well, that's weird. And they tried changing it to any other sport that they could possibly find. Disconnected. I was listening to NPR earlier today. Apparently Disney, massive conglomerate. They own a lot of things underneath them, not just like Marvel and all that other stuff, but they also own broadcasting rights for ESPN. They're in a contract dispute with Comcast right now.
I think everybody's in a contract dispute with Comcast. I can't stand Comcast.
I can't either. And apparently Disney said, you guys want to play hardball? Let's play hardball. And then just immediately revoked all of their rights to stream anything that they own. That includes their movies, but more importantly, the sports that are actively going on right now, which is insane to think about because at the time of this recording, 1 week from now is going to be Monday Night Football, the NFL, which is one of the biggest money makers.
Comcast, I think, has made a big mistake.
I think they're apparently trying to do these weird packages, from what I understand, where they're trying to split things up into genres. So they'll be like, this is just for kids. This is just for adults. This is just for sports.
And as great as that sounds,
Dude, I'm tapped out.
Yeah.
I'm tapped out. I mean, how many streaming services do you...
We have about 6 streaming services right now. And
6?
we talk
God.
about all the time, because we don't use them because, we have YouTube that we use mostly. But you can't get the movies that we want to watch on a single service. You have to have them all.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have all the horror,
Oh, yeah.
and the sci-fi and and it just keeps going on.
I'm just getting so annoyed with how they keep splintering off. Like, case in point, me and my partners, we have, Amazon Prime, Paramount Plus, Netflix, Hulu, et cetera, et cetera. And even through all of our combined subscriptions, I had to still buy and rent Django Unchained from a streaming service. It is so annoying.
Because it's only on that one service.
It's only on that one service. And one thing that really kills me is that I was reading online on Reddit one time. Apparently, if you use a VPN and say you're from like Malaysia or say you're from like some random Eastern European country, the different streaming services like Netflix will have different content available on it. Why can you not just combine it all? I'm getting to the point where it sounds crazy. I wish that they would just have some mega bundle that you could pay for. And in the worst way possible, we're now returning ourselves back to the old cable and dish services.
Yeah. The problem I see with that is that we would be holding to one company.
Dude, and what kills me even more, and I'll get off of this rant, but for my fellow sports fans, I pay for certain packages to watch certain sports teams, right?
And you subscribe to like individual events through those too.
Exactly, like pay-per-views for the UFC. Now, let me just give you guys a rough idea of how much I have to pay in a given month, okay? I don't watch every UFC event that takes place, but I pay for about one or two. Those are about $125 a pop, right, for the individual events. I also pay for streaming rights for the Detroit Tigers baseball team. And that's $20 a month, okay, just to watch one team, which I find stupid. I'm also having to pay different...
You're doing it.
I am. I'm also paying for NFL Red Zone to watch all the NFL games coming up. The only one that I haven't bought is the college football package because once I totaled it all up, I'd be spending close to like almost $300 in total to watch my events and sports. And I just, back in my day, I remember when you just had to pay, what was it, like $30 and you had all of the sports channels for all the different teams. Hell, you could even watch lacrosse and cornhole tournaments.
Yep.
On ESPN 8 The Ocho. It's just so annoying.
Well, Jacob, that kind of leads into one of our topics today.
Okay.
We're going to be talking about all of our favorite things today, Jacob.
Oh, yeah.
Well, at least 25 of our favorite things. Why don't you go ahead and get us started?
Okay. So I'm going to read this topic and we're both going to say it on the count of 3 where we think the best one's at. This is the best margarita.
Okay.
So 1, 2, 3.
Palanchos.
I knew it. I freaking love Palanchos. I don't even like margaritas that much, but the few that I've gotten from Palanchos, holy crap.
Well, they also have the best beer selection for you, too.
They really do. They really do. My favorite beer at a restaurant, personally, I know you don't drink beer, so I'll just list this, is Pacifico or Victoria. They're so damn good. Honorable mention to San Miguel, which is a Filipino beer. It's like the Bud Light of the Philippines.
Feels like there's some favoritism there.
Yeah, there's a little bit. All right. I'm going to ask you what you think this one is.
Okay.
The best black job.
President of the United States,
Yeah.
Mamala Kamala.
Similar to the margarita. What do you think the best taco is? You can get around here.
Well, I'm sorry, Palanchos. I can't say that you got the best taco. You have very good tacos. Everything there is good. But I'm going to have to describe it to you because I don't know the name.
Oh, okay.
So if you're going down Kingston Pike and you get down to AutoZone, that tree that you turn by where there's a cow.
Yeah.
No, by AutoZone and that the gas station there's a food truck. A Mexican food truck.
Oh, La Princesa for La Herradura Express.
Oh, my God.
Dude.
Oh,
there's
my God.
always a line. Even if it's raining, there's a line.
What's your favorite taco?
Oh, no, dude. Easily that. Although this is going to be a bit of a hot take. I love the spicy soft potato tacos at Taco Bell.
Taco Bell, yes.
Holy shit, dude.
I love
get
those
slept
too.
on too much. Their average taco, garbage, but that soft potato taco, damn.
Everything they have with their potatoes is good.
Dude, the Fiesta potatoes, before I became lactose intolerant, because I had like cream cheese and nacho cheese, it was just on top of potatoes. That's all it was.
Yep. They have you can ask for a vegetarian potato burrito too.
Really?
It's really good, yeah.
I'll say the runner-up to the best taco that I've ever had personally in this area, my first apartment that I lived in the Loudon, right?
The Loudon.
It didn't have a washer and dryer inside the unit. And then the washer and dryer that were on the apartment grounds were crappy at best. So I always took my laundry to a laundromat. It was called La Lupita, right? And it was like in a strip mall, and it's owned by the same company because right next door is like this little Mexican bodega / bakery / butcher shop / restaurant. And one day I went over there while I was cleaning my clothes, and I was like, I got some time to kill. Let me get some tacos. You knew it was going to be legit because the menu, they didn't even bother trying to put any of it in English. It was just, I basically had to point at what I wanted. They also had a NASCAR race in Telemundo.
Were you acting Latino that day?
They definitely believe that I was Hispanic, for sure. And I will say, I think I know why.
Or were you laying it on thick?
No, I was trying to be somewhat respectful. But I remember when the doors opened up to the back of the kitchen, there were just these old, tiny little abuelas back there cooking. I was like, that's why this is so damn good. But it always surprises people when I tell them some of the best tacos I ever had was next to a laundromat.
I can believe that.
All right, what do you got for you? I know you read a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So what is your favorite book?
Of all times.
Of all time. Let's say, give me like 3 or 5.
I'll just give you one.
Okay.
Because I don't think it's ever changed in my lifetime. It actually, I have the book right here. It's Lost Souls by Poppy Zebright.
That's a great name.
Okay. Poppy is no longer Poppy. Poppy is a trans man now, but went by Poppy Zebright when they wrote this book. And it is a vampire novel.
Of course, it's horror related.
Southern Gothic horror. And it's just, I've had this book several times. When we opened the G-Spot, I went out and bought this book again because I wanted to use it as inspiration.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That good, huh?
Yep. What's yours?
I'm like torn between 3, if I can be honest with you.
If you say Pride and Prejudice, I'm going to punch you in the face.
No.
Because that's the worst book I've ever read.
Well, it was on my list through the suggestion of one of our listeners when I reached out to them about building this list. But I think one that's really pertinent, I know it's going to seem basic, but 1984 by George Orwell.
Oh, I don't think that's basic. I think that's an exceptional book.
I definitely rebought it during Trump's first term or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And
he's only had one term.
Yeah.
He's only going to have one term.
He's only going to have one term. His one and only term. And dude, I'm telling you, it was so difficult to find a copy because everybody else was like, oh, I need to reread this.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the most influential books I read during like the development stages of my teenage years was To Kill a Mockingbird.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
I think that, one, I see why really nefarious powers that be are trying to ban that book in a bunch of places. And I think if anybody really wants to read a book and they're banning it, you should read it even more. There's a reason why they don't want you to read it. And then I think tied for third for me is actually my dad's favorite book was The Great Gatsby.
I read the book. The book to me read slow. It was a good book, but it read slow. Watching the film portrayal of the book, which wasn't complete, but it was a good movie.
I thought it was a great movie too, honestly. Yeah. Speaking of movies, best movies?
Some of these are easy because every orientation we do, we ask some of these questions to new students.
Yeah.
So my favorite movie of all times is Seven.
Oh yeah.
What's in the box?
Yeah. What's in the box?
Yeah. That's probably my favorite movie.
I think my favorite movie, I actually just brought it up earlier. I freaking love Django Unchained. I think it's one of the best movies that have been made.
Now, if you had asked me my favorite animated series,
Yeah.
Adventure Time, no questions asked.
I just saw yesterday on Reddit, it was like the 7-year anniversary since that series ended.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. It's just a
so
feel good.
I little story here. Jared and I were rewatching it, and there were some episodes I had missed and a couple he had missed, and so we were really having a good time. I had not seen the last season of it.
Oh, you haven't?
I had not.
It'll get you in the feels, man.
Oh, and he knows that, like, when the last Harry Potter book came out, I read a couple of pages. I got to the last few chapters and I'm like, oh my God, it's going to be done. And I started grieving, like deep grieving over it. And so I started just reading a couple pages a day. I'd start 2 or 3 more books to distract me from finishing it. You know? Well, I've done that with a couple of series that we watched, like the Umbrella Academy.
Yeah.
Okay. And he knew the end episode was the next one.
Oh.
And he didn't tell me.
Oh.
And I get emotional about it now. I cried, and it's not uncommon for me to cry.
No.
But it's uncommon for me to cry about an animated series.
Yeah.
But that would have been my favorite animated series of all times.
I think my favorite was, and I think it's part of the reason why I love talking about some of the spooky topics we talk about, but Courage the Cowardly Dog was such a good show for me as a kid. The episode, for the other millennials listening, Return the Slab, that was like the scariest episode to me as a kid. I used to have nightmares about that mummy ghost guy.
Well, hey there, family. I'm Presley King, the voice of Uncle Theo here at Ravens Vail Podcast. At Ravens Vail, we love telling you our story. That's why I'm excited to tell you about Appalachian Horror Fest 2024. Appalachian Horror Fest 2024 is an evening of music and storytelling themed around the macabre. The event will take place on Saturday, October 12th, 2024 at Central Cinema in Knoxville, Tennessee from 5:30 until 9:30. Our hauntingly talented musicians will serenade you with eerie tunes that echo through the misty Appalachian hills. Gather round as our master storytellers weave through their blood-curdling tales. Legends of restless spirits, vengeful ghosts, and ancient curses will dance in your imagination. Tickets are on sale now at AppalachianHorrorFest.com/tickets. Oh, storytellers! If your words can raise goosebumps and summon sleeping spirits, step into the spotlight. Submit your spine-chilling tale at AppalachianHorrorFest.com/storytellers. Appalachian Horror Fest. We hope to see you there.
What do you think is the best video game? I actually found a list, and they compiled the Metacritic scores, and I want to know what you think about these.
Okay, let me hear these.
So, by complete total scores amongst critics and individual users who bought the game and left a review, the highest rated video game that's ever been made was Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Absolutely the best game ever released. Second to that, which is, I don't know, you got your list. The second to that in my book, is Visage, which is a horror game.
I never played Visage. What's it about?
It's a horror game.
Okay.
I'm not going to spoil it for you.
Oh, God. I don't want to play.
But go back to your list. I knew it was going to be that.
This is a hot take for me, just real quick. I don't even think that Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, I don't even think that was the best one in the series. I really did not get into it.
Shut your nasty fucking hole.
I know. That's everybody's reaction to me when I say that.
You are a blasphemous piece of crap.
Can I give one piece
what can I
of
throw
defense?
At you?
Just one?
No. Here.
I thought that...
Why you gotta be such an asshole?
Just because I don't like it doesn't mean it's not good, right? I just don't like my favorite.
You probably like Minecraft.
Well, me and 300 million other people definitely like Minecraft. I actually looked up a statistic when I was building this list. They sold what would be the equivalent of like 14 copies of this game every minute since it came out like 14
Still
years
not
ago.
as popular.
Yeah, they didn't get as high of a score. Also, number 2, if you look at the scores just compiled together, was Grand Theft Auto 5, which I never played.
I'm not a big fan of the Grand Theft Auto franchise.
I never got into it either. I don't know why. Minecraft was number 3. Fortnite was number 4. Did you ever play Fortnite?
Jared and I played with you.
I don't remember. We played Fortnite together?
I think so.
It must have been a fortnight ago.
It was a while ago.
I thought this one should have been higher, but it rounded out at number 5. The Elder Scrolls Skyrim, which
Yeah.
I thought that's probably on the list.
Wait, we played Skyrim, not Fortnite.
No, you can't play Skyrim together. We played Diablo. That was the game that me and Jared played a lot together.
We did play Fortnite though.
I'm sure we probably have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that was the list. I thought that was interesting. Speaking of video games and media, what, in your opinion, is the best album?
Probably,
what's an album you can listen to from start to finish, not skip anything?
Oh God, there's so many.
I know.
I think for sheer content and like the effect it had when it came out, I'm going to give you 2 answers. So that album, when it came out, had to be Michael Jackson Thriller.
Oh, God. Well, yeah, I think universally that's probably the highest rated album that's ever been released.
And then, the whole spooky vibe
Oh, yeah.
of Thriller. But I'm just going to go with that.
Just Thriller?
Yeah. There's other albums out there. I'm a big Counting Crow fan.
Really?
Yeah. But
what about the White Album by the Beatles?
Yeah, I like that. But Jared might say that. I'm not as big a Beatle fan as he was. Just a offhanded piece of trivia. Jared's parents were actually going to name him Jude.
Really? Huh.
Because of that, yeah.
He looks like he would be a Jude, too.
Yeah.
I could see it.
Yeah.
I think my favorite album that I listen to from start to finish is probably, this might surprise some people, but I'm a huge old school country fan.
Me too.
Red-Headed Stranger by Willie Nelson, probably one of the best albums that's ever been recorded. I love every track on it. I still have a vinyl record copy that my dad had when he was my age, and I inherited it.
What was your favorite album you ever bought? Mine, I'm going to really show my age here. Mine, I bought it the week it came out, and it was Fleetwood Mac Rumors.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. I love Fleetwood Mac.
We got to see Stevie Nicks in concert last year. She's so fucking amazing. In her 70s, still rocking it.
Still killing it.
So what was your favorite?
My favorite is probably an obscure one. It's a folk punk album by AJJ. I think it's a toss-up between their album Rompilation and then also People Who Can Eat People Are the Luckiest People in the World, which is a hilarious title.
It is.
But the first album, I actually remember like walking into a store to buy a physical copy of it, was Good News for People Who Love Bad News by Modest Mouse. I love Modest Mouse.
Yeah, I do too. We've seen them in concert too.
Oh, you saw them in concert?
Yeah, they were here. One thing that I'll say was probably different from my experience of buying my first album and yours. You probably bought a CD.
Yeah.
And I bought the vinyl.
What was it?
Rumors.
Oh, was it
It
Rumors?
was Rumors, yeah. That's all we had, Jacob. At the time an album would come out, you couldn't get the cassette either. You could only get the album. And a month or so later, you could get the cassette.
What's a cassette? No, I'm joking.
Fuck you.
What was the best video game console?
PS5.
You think so?
Hands down.
I don't know one.
I think we have every console.
I'm pretty sure you guys do. I'm a PC gamer now.
We have we have games on the PC. We have Xbox. We have them all. We even have 2 virtual reality gaming systems.
Oh yeah.
And
I remember you sent me video clips of Jared just swinging wildly with it.
Yeah, I'd say the PS5. I think that it's the sleekest looking game system.
Oh God,
console.
yeah, it looks real futuristic.
Yeah, and it's just simple. Like it just does what it says it's going to do. You don't have to do anything to get it to do it. It's just a beautiful piece of machinery.
Now, they're quickly moving away from like physical game media. So I forget, does the PS5 even have a disc slot?
It has two options when you purchase it. We have a subscription, so we didn't bother with the physical media. And so, yeah, you can. Everything that we have in physical media is for the PS4, which we have. And we just switch over to that when we want to play one of those. But most of the PS4 games are on the subscription.
Really?
So, yeah.
Just add it to the pile of subscriptions you guys have.
Well, you were talking about a VPN, you know. You have to have a subscription to that before you can use it.
God. What do you think is the best ice cream flavor, Ed?
God. I happen to remember us talking about this in a meeting at some point.
Yeah.
And I think you and I share the same one. So if we were just talking about plain flavors like vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, it would probably be strawberry. But that's not my favorite flavor.
What is?
Pistachio.
Oh, yeah. That's a heater.
Yeah.
I really think that one is one of the most underrated ice cream flavors. Because I'm telling you, on a good day, I don't think anything beats pistachio.
You're absolutely right.
I will say one that I've been wearing out recently is one that I've been buying from Kroger. It is
not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor. It is a dairy-free version of Cherry Garcia.
But not sugar-free.
It's not sugar-free now.
Shit.
But I can at least eat it, and it doesn't completely destroy
you. Yeah.
So, speaking of dairy, what's your favorite, in your opinion, what's the best cheese out there?
That is a hard question because I love cheese.
Same here.
I happen to.
It doesn't love me.
It doesn't love you, but I have seen you chow on some cheese. I'm going to be a snob for a moment, and I'm going to say there's some Gruyere that I really like.
Yeah.
Some aged Gruyere, but not for a burger. If I'm going to eat a burger, I want a slice of American cheese, and I don't care what anybody says. It is cheese. I've had to prove this over and over to people. It is not plastic. It's just not aged, and I like it. But I like them all. I don't know that. I'll just say American.
Just American.
Just because that's the easiest answer, and I could go on, but
I think Brie. Brie's probably my favorite cheese.
If you have Brie with something. I don't.
Yeah, like fruit.
Yeah, fruit or
slice.
Some kind of like spicy cracker or some flavorful cracker or something.
I think one of the unspoken heroes of the cheese world, if you just think about just how it stands by itself, mozzarella, because of like cheese sticks.
I thought you were going to say Baby Bell, and I was going to be on board with that.
I've never been a big fan of Baby Bell. Maybe just haven't eaten enough. I know that it's just a risk. I really have to look at my schedule that day if I'm going to eat some cheese. What do you think is some of the most memorable, best political slogans you've heard in your life?
Let's see. Yes, we can.
Yes.
It's probably my favorite. Well, you know what? I'm going to take that back. That was one of the most memorable, but I'm with her.
I'm with her. Yeah, I can see that. That was Hillary Clinton's. Yeah.
Yep.
I think just based off of just the simplicity of it, my favorite was I like Ike.
I like Ike.
It's pretty good.
I have one for you. I can't really answer this one. Best coffee joint.
Best coffee joint?
Mm-hmm. You worked for one, so I know that's not the favorite. But
no. It used to be.
Yeah.
It used to be. In terms of the best coffee joints I think I've ever been to, K-Brew is pretty damn good.
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor.
But they could be.
They could be. I think just in terms of how they roast their beans and the quality of the coffee itself, whether it's their espresso or whether it's just their normal daily brew. I think K-Brew, South Press, I like their coffee, but I like their social work even more, which is why I like to support them.
I was going to say South Press because of their other drinks. I don't drink coffee, but I like all their other drinks.
This is going to sound...
Shout out to South Press.
Shout out to South Press.
The most progressive coffee community.
Oh, yeah. They have a full
I'll
community.
say coffee community.
They also advertise Mine Exact self-defense class inside of their store, which I think is cool.
We're also sponsoring one of their drag performances.
Oh, yeah.
Contests out there. Yep.
And I would say the final one, and this is for the other Knoxvillians here, there's one really close by to me off Cedar Bluff where I live. It's called the Empty Cup, and they have the best in-house chai I think I've ever had anywhere. I don't know what they do differently, where they source it from or what, but I got a chai tea from them probably like this time last year. Oh my God, dude. And it's not that expensive.
So next Tuesday,
you want to go get some?
Yeah, well, you just bring them on out.
Yeah,
here.
I'll
you just
bring
drop
it.
by and get that. I can do that for lunch.
I'll get a hot and an iced one. We'll let you pick which one's your favorite.
Iced, typically iced, but I like the hot ones too. And you know what? If I go to Starbucks and get it, I get a 10 pump chai tea latte, no milk, no water.
Yeah, dude, that's strong.
Yeah,
Jesus.
I like it.
Fun fact about chai: do you know that it literally just means tea? So when you say chai tea, it means TT.
TT.
Well, I feel like I already know this answer for you, but what is, in your opinion, the best month of the year?
October, November, December.
You just combine all three?
Yeah, it's just holiday celebration.
Oh, yeah. I love the holidays.
Just the holidays. I love them all.
I love November, I think, is my favorite because Thanksgiving is one of my favorite holidays ever. Maybe because nobody's buying any gifts, which I like. It's all just about getting together and eating food with the fam, which is like...
I get that.
I understand if you're not close to your family, you know, that Thanksgiving would probably be a shitty holiday for you. But for me, that's like on the Mount Rushmore best months for me is November. Also, the weather finally feels the way I want it to feel, which is always dope. Dude, speaking of Thanksgiving, what do you think is the best Thanksgiving food that if it's not served, you're just questioning what the hell's going on here?
I got two. Cranberry sauce. And I'm talking about the jelly out of the can.
Really?
Yep.
That's a hot take.
Jelly out of the can and pecan pie.
Pecan pie, yeah.
I just want regular pecan pie, not any of this fancy chocolate chip pecan pie or anything like that. Just your old-fashioned, grandma made it pecan
I love
pie.
if it's still warm, too.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
A little vanilla ice cream.
For me, I think it's macaroni and cheese. Like, I think that depending on the macaroni and cheese quality... That really, to me, ties the full meal together. That and mashed potatoes. Now,
good mashed potatoes.
I don't like gravy on my mashed potatoes.
Sometimes.
What do you think is the best podcast? That's not us, obviously.
Well, I've got my overall favorite, and then I have a new favorite. My overall favorite is going to be Old Gods of Appalachia.
Yeah, not surprised by that answer.
Or Night Vale. I like both of those equally.
Yeah.
And then I have a new one that I've been listening to. It's called the Three Ravens Podcast. It's out of the UK.
Mm-hmm.
And I would be remiss if I didn't also say that I really like my friend Nikki's Truth or Demons podcast.
Oh, yeah.
I really like her podcast too. So, and there's, Scream Queer and all those that I listen to. I should probably spend more time creating podcast material than listening to them as much as I do.
You're doing your research.
I'm doing my research.
I think my favorite that I consistently...
Joe Rogan.
Super hot take. If I can give a hot take. There's actually different versions of the Joe Rogan podcast, and one that I actually really like are his MMA only podcasts. Instead of having some dude on that's some right-wing grifter, he'll have like maybe a legend of the sport that maybe was way more popular pre the modern era, and you get to listen to some of the craziest stories of when MMA was in the Wild West days.
No doubt. I will give Joe Rogan the fact that he knows how to do a podcast.
He does.
He might be a dick, but he knows how to do a podcast.
Spreads a lot of misinformation. I think if you just listen to the MMA episodes, it's pound for pound one of the best podcasts out there. I also really love the Time Suck podcast with Dan Cummins.
Yeah.
You've heard me talk about it a lot.
Yeah.
I love his show.
I don't routinely listen to it, but when I do, I listen like serial listen.
Yeah. I've listened to literally every episode he has put out for the last 4 years.
I can't say that. But
I love it. And then my third favorite, Bill Burr has a podcast.
it's hilarious.
It is one of the, it's like he's just doing stand-up
Yeah.
as he's just talking about his day. It is so damn funny.
I'm not devoted to it, but when I need something to listen to, it's one of my go-tos.
Oh, man. Love it. Dude, I wanted to bring this list up just so I could just talk about it. My favorite Alien movies.
Mm-hmm.
What is your favorite Alien movie, if you had to pick one?
I'm going to say the original Alien movie
Yeah.
is probably my favorite.
I need to watch Romulus. The one that just
I
came
want to
out.
watch that. Yeah.
I've heard really good things. I think it starts, for me, I have multiple favorites, as you could probably imagine. The first one that started out, I think my fascination with aliens, and I think a lot of people probably have this one too, but E.T. Like E.T., the extraterrestrial.
Yeah, I like that movie. I didn't think about it in this list because I was just thinking about which one was I going to say, because I really like Predator too.
Yeah, that was a really good one. I think.
But in both of those, the original.
But
But I didn't really appreciate Alien versus Predator.
no,
It wasn't my favorite.
I liked Close Encounters of a Third Kind.
Oh, that one was good too.
That one was super, super good. And
Yeah, I
then this
didn't
one-
consider that one either. Jeez.
But this one, a lot of people just think of it just as like a horror movie,
Mhm.
but it is, I think it was like technically the first horror movie I really, really enjoyed and will go back and watch, but it's also an alien movie, The Thing.
Is it an alien movie?
Yeah, it's so an alien. I'm don't even know if I need to put a spoil alert on this one or a warning.
No,
The
I
movie
don't
came
think
out in 1982, for God's sake. So if you haven't watched it, it's on you. But an alien spaceship crashes at that Arctic base, and then the being gets off of the ship.
That's right.
I think that's probably one of the best.
I also, I always overlook this movie, but it was exceptional. It might be my favorite. Jordan Peele's came out in 2020. Nope.
Oh, yeah. I watched that one. That was
So-
the first date that me and my Thover went on.
Yeah, I think that's going to be my favorite. I think I'm retracting Alien, and I'm going to go with Nope because it is such a cleverly put together movie.
Pacing on it's incredible. Cinematography was fan-fucking-tastic.
Yeah, it was great.
I thought, yeah. Oh, you know what? Those are good picks. I'll add Nope to my list, too. It's pretty good. Dude, speaking of favorites, what do you think is the best Cauldron episode we've done this season? We had some bangers.
We have. It's either going to be Ghost Ship
Yeah.
or the OGs of Halloween.
Yeah, I just
It
actually
was my
listened to that
favorite.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably my favorite. So I can't choose between those two.
I want to say Ghost Ship for me. That was a really fun one. I loved telling this story about the ghost canoe.
Canoe.
That was so good. I've actually retold that story just to random people when they ask me about it.
I am going to point out again that a canoe is not a ship.
I also really enjoyed the alien episodes. I would say the time travel episode was also probably one of my favorites, just in terms of the research that I did.
Can you believe we only have about 3 more episodes in this season?
It's crazy. Dude, this
This
year.
year.
We're already in September, bro.
I know.
It's crazy. And then we're going to blink, and then October is going to be over, by the way. What do you think? You've traveled a shit ton.
Mm-hmm.
What's the best vacation destination you've ever been to?
I've probably told you this before. I spent 3 weeks in Malta.
Yeah, you lucky bastard.
Yeah. And so you have 3 islands there to visit and explore, but it's a day trip over to Greece. You can, on a boat, you can charter a boat to go over to Greece. You can go to Sicily and Italy, and so I got to do all that while I was there.
I bet it was
So that was
gorgeous, too.
That's something on my bucket list to go back and do.
Really. Take me with you, please.
Okay.
Please take me with you. I've always wanted to go.
You're 5'5", so you can fit in the suitcase.
Yeah, I'll just sneak on board.
In the trunk.
You get like one of those pet carriers. I'll be in the bottom of the aircraft.
You'll just be going, meow.
I think my favorite vacation destination I ever went to, I'm telling you, anybody, if you've not seen the Grand Canyon, I know that seems like a generic answer, but anybody that has actually been to the Grand Canyon agrees with me when we talk about it.
If you had said U.S. location, it would have been the Grand Canyon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just fucking humongous. Yeah. It's beautiful, dude. Runner up for that, though, I would say, I really like the Bahamas. I keep going back to them.
Bahamas are cool.
Okay. What was, in your opinion, I've got my opinion on this, but what do you think is the best technology that's been invented in your lifetime?
The internet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then the cell phone. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, but now it's like combined, right?
Yeah. Now I can get the internet on my cell phone.
I actually built this list with my partners because I was like, I mean, we're all roughly the same age. We started out, obviously, the internet. We've never lived without it. When you think about it, we were all born in the 90s. Then the smartphone was second. That kind of goes hand in hand, pun fully intended. The actual personal computer, I don't think it's enough credit because now we use our phones for everything. But dude, the computer smartphone was the best piece of technology ever. I've added this one just because it helped me so much through college. The TI-84 calculator.
Yeah.
Holy crap, dude.
I hated that.
Really?
I hate it. I'm not a math person.
Dude.
I did it because I had to.
But that's what I loved about the TI-84. It did everything for you. I mean, I effectively don't really know how to do math. I know how to use the calculator.
But that's all you got to do.
And then one thing I thought was really funny that one of my partners said we needed to include was the LED light strip.
Right up here, buddy.
Yeah, I know.
Right up there, buddy.
It's made think of every gamer cave that exists right now. You have to have those.
Mm-hmm. What else you got?
I've got best state, in your opinion.
Tennessee.
Tennessee, really?
Yeah. Not because of its politics, because of the state itself. Like, it's the most beautiful state in the country.
Best region?
Yep.
South.
Or of the state.
Of the state, yeah.
East Tennessee, baby.
East Tennessee, I think, is definitely the best. Yeah. Middle Tennessee has Nashville, and that's cool, but that's like it. But here in East Tennessee, we've got Knoxville, we've got Chattanooga, you've got Bristol, Oak Ridge is a habitable town.
Gatlinburg.
Maryville, Gatlinburg.
So I've got one for you.
Okay. Best
conspiracy theory. Just one.
Just one?
Mm-hmm.
My favorite?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's my favorite conspiracy theory. That the Earth is flat, right? But not just because the Earth is flat, but what goes into that is that the outer ridge of the Earth is like this giant ice shelf, and on the other side of the ice shelf is a race of ancient giants.
Okay. My favorite conspiracy theory is something that I heard recently.
Okay.
It is that COVID was created by the Democrats.
Oh.
Okay. Created by the Democrats to control voter suppression or to help in voter suppression.
How does that even work?
I don't know. It's a conspiracy theory.
It's the same people that also tell you COVID's not real, but if it is real, it's made by the Democrats. Sure, why not? Well, I wanted to talk about best tattoo studios in Knoxville. I think that's pretty cool. Idle Hands. Yeah, probably the best. I'm not just saying that because we interviewed the dude. Just the quality of his work is freaking incredible.
He's the only person that gets to work on me.
Yeah. I'm telling you, Riverside Tattoo Company, even though Noah's left and gone up to Vermont, which miss you, Noah, they still have some of the best. I've gotten, how many tattoos have I gotten this year alone?
40?
Yeah, like three or four, something crazy like that. I'm done. I'm done for the time being. I don't want it anymore. I'm getting tired of them.
He's not.
What do you think? You would definitely have an answer for this, like I did for coffee. What do you think is the best energy drink?
I like all, and I mean all.
I know.
Of the sugar-free Monsters.
Sugar-free Monsters?
Yeah. They, unlike other energy drinks that give you one option in sugar-free. Like I used to be a sugar-free Red Bull person.
Yeah, that was my drink of choice.
They changed the recipe and now it tastes like crap. But I have one right here. Monster, not a sponsor. This is the Ultra Zero, or Zero Ultra, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think that's the one I see you drink the most.
Yeah.
They also have the coolest can designs.
They do. And they're just phenomenal marketers, too.
Yeah. You ever met motherfuckers that have like the Monster logo tattooed on them?
Yeah.
I remember there was a dude I knew in high school who
remember I'm from Tazewell.
The moment he turned 18, he got this like half sleeve on his like bicep of the Monster logo, but the inside was a Confederate flag.
Oh my God. Okay, let's move
on. What do you think was the best date that you've ever been on?
Oh God. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a little story. Mm-hmm. Jared and I were hanging out a lot, and this was about 8 years ago. We were hanging out a lot, and I found him attractive, but we hadn't said anything about dating or anything. And we went to a haunted attraction up in Talbot, and they hadn't opened yet, so we were standing outside and we were talking, and I'm combining a lot of different things that were happening, but so this is the real brief version. Basically, he informed me that we were dating, that we were in fact dating, and I started thinking about it, and we had been dating. I just didn't put a label on it. So I would say that, because you know me in horror and haunted attractions, and I found out I was dating somebody.
It's like all your favorite things right there. Yeah. It's crazy.
I mean, I could talk about how he proposed too. Oh. Like, he took me to the island in Gatlinburg, or Pigeon Forge, and he knows that I absolutely love rides, and my favorite ride is the Ferris wheel.
Oh, classic.
Okay. So we went to the island, and we were rushing around because it was about to rain. We got our tickets. We got on the Ferris wheel. We get to almost the top of the Ferris wheel, and he gets down on one knee and he proposes.
No.
And I lose it. And then he loses it. And then the people who had been standing with us, they're all emotional too. So it was that. So either one of those, about equal.
I think my favorite date that I've ever been on was actually a double date that me and my twin, it was the first time that...
Can you say this on the air?
I think I can. It was the first time that me and Zach had invited all of our partners out at the same time. And I mean, it was an expensive ass dinner, but we had drinks. We went to a Korean barbecue place, and it was just awesome seeing the people that meant the most to my twin that he wasn't blood related to, also getting to meet the most important people in my life. And then I think what made the date so incredible was just how everybody got along. Immediately.
That's awesome.
Yeah, hands down, that was my favorite date that I think I've ever been on.
So, Jacob, are you ready for your would you rather question?
Oh, yeah. Let's do it.
Would you rather live in a city with all of the amenities, or live in the countryside where beautiful nature was everywhere, but there were fewer conveniences?
I'm assuming that I can pay all my bills in either location, right? So this is purely just
aesthetics.
Man, I got to admit, I love living in a city. I really do. And where I live right now off Cedar Bluff, I'm 4 or 5 minutes away from literally anything I want to do. I'm 11 minutes from campus. I don't know. Yeah, that seems like a pretty easy answer for me. I feel like as I get older, I'll probably want the countryside.
Jared and I are looking for a house, and we want something that feels like the countryside, but isn't more than 15 minutes away from work.
Yeah. All right, I got a would you rather. You ready?
Okay. Yeah.
Would you rather be able to control the weather or control time?
I bet you think I'm going to say the weather, so I could keep it warm all the time and not be cold. But no, I think I would want to control time, and I just want time to slow down.
Yeah. But how much? Like, do you want like 4 extra hours in a day or what?
No, I want extra years.
Extra years.
I mean, I'm older than Jared. I just want to be able to keep that.
I think hey, stem cells keep getting pretty popular.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, Ed, do you want to hear a dad joke?
Sure.
Awesome. All right, this dad joke actually came from one of our listeners, Matt Sco, and he submitted it to the Cauldron during CreepyCon 2024.
Oh, neat.
Yeah. So here you go. Not everyone can be cremated. You have to earn it. Thank you, Matt. Let's go.
Thank you, Matt. No, that was actually great. All right, family. Let's dip down into the cauldron and see what the brew has in store for us today. We have just one item in the brew today. This one is entitled In the Slump, and it's from #ConcernedWillie.
Great name.
Dear Ed and Jacob, I never thought I'd write to someone for advice like this, but here I am reaching out for your insight on a topic that has been weighing on my mind. I started listening to your podcast at the end of your first season, and the dad jokes had me rolling.
Thank you.
I'm writing not only for me, but others that might be experiencing similar issues. I've done my own research and have a visit with a urologist scheduled for mid-month. I'm primarily asking advice on communication. For the past 3 months, I've been experiencing some difficulties with sexual dysfunction, which is starting to affect my confidence and relationship. It has progressively gotten worse. I'm a healthy 26-year-old white male who has always been able to go from 0 to 169 in an amazing short time frame. Aside from my charming personality, I'm well above average, and my appetite has always been ferocious.
All right.
My desire to have sex hasn't lessened, and I'm still very attracted to my girlfriend. The issue is, instead of a steel rod, it's either a limp noodle or it only gets to half mass. I have no other health issues besides seasonal allergies. While I understand this is a common issue, I'm unsure about the best steps to take to address it with my girlfriend. We're still having sex, but it hasn't been good, and it takes so long she asked me to stop the last 3 or 4 times. I wasn't even able to finish. I am having similar results with masturbation. Could you provide some guidance on how to approach this situation in a way that fosters open communication and understanding? I really don't want to make her feel responsible. What steps can I take to ensure that we navigate this journey together? First of all, I'm going to say we are not licensed therapists, well, massage therapists, but we're not licensed psychotherapists.
Nope.
Or medical doctors. So we're not here to diagnose or give you any kind of advice outside of life advice.
Yeah.
Okay. So the first thing that I want to say is that I think you're on the right track by going to a urologist and getting checked out.
For sure.
I also think that it shows great integrity that you're wanting to communicate effectively.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think Jacob and I would both say that transparency and honesty is the most important part of a relationship.
That's very true.
So that's number one.
I will say, too, sex isn't the only thing in a relationship, but it is a very big part of a relationship. And I think it's completely normal for you to want to, maintain whatever your status quo for sexual relations with your girlfriend is.
Yep.
But I'm just gonna point it out, man. You're getting older.
Yeah.
I know 26 is young in the grand scheme of things, but I remember being 26. I'm 29 now, and I remember when I was 26, I definitely noticed a drop in my libido.
Yeah, that's about the time it happened with me too. I also want to say, specifically to you and anybody else who's having this problem, penetrative sex is not the only type of sex.
No, it definitely is not.
And so I believe that if you communicate with your girlfriend openly and honestly and be vulnerable
mm-hmm.
and just say, I'm having some issues. I'm having them checked out.
Mm-hmm.
It has nothing to do with you. It is a physical thing that I think she'll understand. And I also think that you all should explore other ways of having sex besides penetrative sex.
Yeah. And one thing I find interesting, if you ever really want to just back it up with statistics so it makes your girlfriend not feel like, oh, it's me, because I know that that's probably where your partner's mind is immediately going to go, like, what am I doing wrong or whatever. If I just looked it up real quick. In the U.S., 18.4% of men aged 20 and older have ED, and that's equivalent to about 18 million men in the U.S. So you're not alone. I think that as you get older, it could get more prevalent. But the fact that you're going to a urologist, he may. Yep. One thing that I think a lot of people don't want to talk about either is that how much your stress level.
Yep.
In your personal life.
Well, that's what I was going to say. There's multiple reasons this could be happening. It could just be you're getting to that age.
Yeah.
It could also be a hormonal thing. Like you could have a hormonal imbalance. It could be nutritional. Mm-hmm. It could be stress related. Mm-hmm. There could be a physical thing happening. Like you could have maybe a testicular tumor or something that's causing, or you could have a blood flow restriction.
Could be.
All of those things are possible, and yet none of those things could be true. And it could just be a season of your life that you're going through.
Exactly. I will say this too, as a cisgendered male, it definitely is a huge strike against your pride, because the general popular consensus is that men are always expected to be ready to go 24/7, and that's just not the reality.
I think that's old thoughts that people need to get over.
And I think that if you are comparing yourself to how you think you're supposed to be performing, then you're going to get in your own head about it. And I'm sure once you start to have sex and you start thinking, oh no, it's going to happen again. Well, now your eyes aren't on the prize at that point.
Yep. I think that the last thing we'll say is that intimate sexual activity within a relationship is honestly supposed to be about pleasing each other.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you can do that, it doesn't matter what action you're taking to do that, as long as both partners feel fulfilled. So,
like this saying goes, there's a million ways to skin a cat.
Yep. To Concerned Willie, thank you for asking for our advice. We really appreciate it. And we hope that we've given you some information that you can use.
I think it'd be cool if you can give us an update.
Yeah.
Maybe find something.
Yeah.
And let us know. We hope you enjoyed this segment of The Brew. We want to hear from you, so we've made it easy for you to join in the fun. You'll just head on over to ravensvail.com, click the social media tab in the menu bar, and select The Brew. There, you can submit your questions, jokes, and spooky stories to be featured on the show. We would love to hear from you and incorporate your submissions into our upcoming episodes. Whether you have a burning question about life or the paranormal, spooky story to share, or, my favorite, a clever dad joke to lighten the mood, this is your chance to add your special touch to the Cauldron. And that wraps up our episode of the Cauldron, Best of 2024. We hope you enjoyed this peek into our favorites and that it connected you to the tales we love to tell. Remember, your support and feedback are what keeps the Cauldron bubbling with more enchanting stories.
Now, family, you adults have a few chores to do. Go on over to ravensvail.com and see about doing your chores on social media. Follow us on all the social media platforms that we've made available just for you folks. Like, listen, subscribe, and follow wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you don't mind, please leave us a good rating and a kind comment. You can find the Ravens Vail Cauldron Podcast on your favorite podcast platform. Just search for Ravens Vail Cauldron Podcast and make sure you hit the follow button to stay up to date with all the latest episodes.
And family, don't forget to tell your friends about us, won't you?
So until next time, family, see you soon.
The Ravens Vail Cauldron is a production of Small Raven Media. Today's episode was hosted by Ed Bolden-Grear with co-host Jacob Garner. Audio engineering and sound design by Nick Devan at Nicky D Sound. Copyrighted 2024, Small Raven Media. All rights reserved.